Virtual photo walks. Virtual photo walks.
Hey everybody, this is Dominic Phillips, again out here with Virtual Photo Walks. We are at Rocky Mountain Riding Therapy, located in beautiful Boulder, Colorado. It is a beautiful day. The wind's kind of settled down. Not so smoky today like we've had the last week. But today we're going to walk around and visit some of the horses here at Rocky Mountain Riding Therapy. And they're also going to let us sit in and watch a little bit of a class and some of the arena work that they do. They do this for disabled people that are dealing with cognitive or emotional issues as well as PSTD or PTSD therapy. So we're gonna enjoy this beautiful day, and again, if anyone has any questions or anything they want to see along the way, just give a shout out, and we'll do our best to show you what you want to see.
Perfect.
Thank you, Dominic, for taking us.
So we're going to take a quick peek at their corral, where they do have a class that just started, and we're going to come up and join this class here after we say hello to some of the horses that are in the stables behind us. So these ramps here, when we start up, most of our riders embarked on the horses from these ramps. It gives the riders, an even edge up here. So she is going over kind of what we're doing here. All of these individuals are normal class participants. Some of them have been in here.
What type of training do these particular horses need to go through to be able to take people like this in this type of environment?
Well, the horses, the main determining factor for a lot of the horses that they get is going to be, initial attitude. Now, all of our instructors and therapists here have gone through different classes to certify them to not only deal with the riders but also with the horses. And part of that is being able to determine which animals are good therapy animals.
And what type of horse is this? Or are they?
We have a mix here. There are some Arabian mixes. There is, back in the stables, if we walk through here in a little bit, a pretty hefty draft mix. So a lot of these horses have either been rescued from not horrible circumstances, but a lot of them have been donated or have come here from circumstances that were less than ideal. So a lot of the horses, some of them are getting a little bit of therapy on their own here. Mm-hmm. But I think attitude is the biggest thing. Some horses will really present themselves as creatures that can work with people. Some of the stories they have here with Mac, who we've seen some photos of Mac from last time, and again, we'll probably get to him in the stables here in a little bit. He was kind of known as a little bit more of an independent horse, maybe a little bit pushy. And when we started today, we had heard the story of Mac's interaction with a young boy that had was severely onset with autism, mm-hmm. and just the story of their interaction of Mac, this horse, that just sort of inched his way over, and then would sit for a moment, and then inched his way over, and then eventually sort of nuzzled the kid's belt buckle. And that for the first time in a number of years, that they saw him make an outside connection of his own.
That's an unbelievable story, Dominic. So, Dominic, how long do these lessons usually take? Are they hour long or afternoon?
Each individual lesson is about 45 minutes to 1 hour long. Today, we were cutting it to 45 minutes because 2 of these 4 horses just had a class at 9 o'clock, and then we joined the 10 o'clock class.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, not unfortunately, but the two riders that had already ridden asked why they couldn't come on the trail rides. So I couldn't tell them no. So,
Stories as far of the horses and different interactions. I told them the one about Mac earlier, but do you have any other, big ones that?
Well, not all horses make therapy horses. The horse has to feel safe enough to let people be around them, because that's almost kind of like being boxed in, and horses don't do that. So we've had numerous horses come out, and we do like a 60-day trial to see if they're gonna make a therapy horse or not.
It was like the horse almost knew that there was something extra that they were dealing with that day.
That's something about big horses, is that they all seem to understand that the riders have some kind of disability, and that they are the caretaker at that point when the rider is on. And so if you look at these riders, you wouldn't know that any of them had disabilities. They all ride really well. They all have really good posture. That's real important, because you have to have good posture in order to sit centered in the saddle, and that gives you the balance you need, so you're not going back and forth. And keeping your heels down is important. That also helps with your balance.
So it seems like there's multiple, there's a physical, an emotional benefit. It seems like, people and the horses really get a lot out of this.
Absolutely.
One question from them.
Okay.
So she mentioned that she's interested for more volunteers to contact her. If people are watching this video and interested in participating at her horse farm in this way, what's the best way to get in touch with her?
Bruce, sorry, asked, speaking of, you mentioned volunteers, for those of people out in the audience that, would like to volunteer or help out in any way, what's the best way to get in contact or find out more information about you?
We have a website, and it's RockyMountainRidingTherapy.org.
Just another question. When we understand that they're taking some riding lessons, and that's part of the therapy, but depending on the level of situation that the riders have, the participants have, do they ever get involved in taking care of the horses themselves?
Aside from the riding therapy, as far as the participants, did they also sometimes get in on the care or feeding of the horses as well?
Not usually the feeding, because the horses eat at certain times, early morning, late afternoon. Sometimes we do have the opportunity for them to do some grooming.
So yeah, like I said, each of the horses has their own little locker of equipment in here. So I get some photos too. And so when they do get their equipment off, you see the tack is just, each of them has their little place for their tack for the day. And they'll get a little bit of a wind down here to cool off, and then again they'll be open up to pasture for the rest of the day. So this is Sunny. Oh, rock on. One of our therapists and instructors is going to be heading that way in a second. We will. I'm promoting her. Our owner-operator of the day, president and CEO, COO, CFO, DBA.
Well, that sounds like a lot of responsibility. I want to talk to you about my day. Yeah. Right.
Rock on.
Bring this over here.
Oh, yes.
All of our saddles have their own spots.
Oh, wait, English saddles on top and Western saddles on bottom. What are you saying here?
Western saddles are a lot heavier. A lot.
That way we don't have to lift them as high.
Nice. And do most of your riders ride Western or English? Well, Cheryl, thanks again so much for having us, and we'll.
Thank you for coming in. We really appreciate you guys coming out to do this with us and letting the world kind of see what we're about and how much therapeutic riding can help. It's a marvelous thing. I've been doing it for over 14 years, and it really is the best. It's my passion. I love it, and I hope to never quit. So.
Excellent. Well, you're doing good work. Thanks so much for having us here today, Cheryl. We appreciate it. Well, guys, I think the tack room is probably the best spot as any for me to sign off here. Thanks again for joining us out here. I'm Dominic Phillips with Virtual Photowalks out at Rocky Mountain Riding Therapy in Boulder, Colorado. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us today, and hope you guys had a good time out. Yeah, and they all, again, wanted me to give another special hello. They're really looking forward to maybe seeing themselves out here and seeing if I got any good photos to send them around.
You will.
Perfect. Great job, Dominic.
Bye.
See you soon.
Photo walks. Virtual photo walks. Virtual photo